It's time to take you on a ride of building a set like this. I mean the full scale one. So I'm working with a super cool local studio and they are in a production of a little commercial. And for the shoot they've asked me to build a little elevator set. We've been discussing it with the producer for the past few days. We've picked together all of the right materials according to the budget. So here are the requirements. It has to be a room that is going to be 250 by 250 and 220 tall. That's in meters. The ceiling should look something like this. These are basically like lamps in the ceiling, but with this certain pattern. And for the interior, I think I'm gonna use them laminated particle boards, basically the stuff that's probably most of your furniture is made of. And also I'm gonna use what we call in Europe HDF. It's basically just a backing board for your furniture or like kitchen cabinets. It's nice because it's almost always available in the same color as your practical boards, so I can use a combination of this really thin 3mm HDF and 18mm laminated practical board. So my genius idea is first of all to build a frame from some timber, like you can see here. Super simple frame. It's literally, it doesn't have to be any sturdy because all of this will get thrown away in a few days after the shoot is over. So simple frame, boards on the wall, and these spacings or gaps are going to create kind of a depth. It's going to look more realistic, more natural on the camera. And also I think these parts on the bottom and on the top, it's almost like a skirting. I think I'm gonna make them a little thicker than the main boards that are on the wall. Even like a little 5mm step is going to really give this more juicy look and feel. And for the ceiling, I think I'm gonna build another wooden frame, just cover it with the HDF material, and I can use our CNC machine to cut these circles just perfectly. I'm probably gonna use some thin diffusing plastic to put on top of those circles just to make them feel like they are actual lamps and they're gonna spread out the light. And for these elevator doors, I think I'm gonna use again HDF. I'm actually quite excited for this one. My plan is to prepare as many things in the shop as I can possibly can, so I can just bring everything to the location and assemble it in minutes, in seconds. No, but in a day. In a day is it's a good number. Yes. But before we move on, a quick announcement. I've set up a membership platform on my channel, so if you would like to support my channel financially and help me create more videos like this, please consider becoming a member. These videos takes a lot to create and I pretty much don't make any revenue from ads, so any help is greatly appreciated. I also have a Patreon page, but I'm thinking about switching completely to the YouTube membership platform. It's just gonna make it easier for everyone having everything in a single platform. So thank you for your time, consider joining, and let's continue with the video. First up, I've had to stock up on the material at our local laminate supplier. Once we've got it into the shop, I've had to cut everything down to the size, which was quite not an easy task, and I've had to use a little help of my friend to manipulate the huge boards around the shop. But we managed to cut everything down to the size nicely, and I could move on to the next step, which was using the CNC router to cut out 9 holes for the pattern at the ceiling. It is so awesome having access to the CNC router. It speeds up the process of your work drastically, and it also increases the quality of your work and the precision. But the best part is that you can just stand next to it and yawn like I just did, while the machine is doing all the work for you. Once I've had the pattern cut out on the HDF boards, I've had to make a framing for it, because the HDF is only 3mm thick, and I think it would be drooping like crazy if I would just place it on top of the walls without any support. So I've had to make this framing from some timber, and I've glued this framing with the PVA glue on top of the HDF. I've made this little test piece last night to see how well the PVA holds on the HDF surface. And yeah, because I was kind of scared that it's not going to hold on well. It's actually really freaking strong. Yes, perfect. Yep. Now I feel confident that this is not going to fall apart. I've decided that I wanted to add a little bit of the thickness to the HDF because it's only 3mm thick and I want it to feel like it's a lamp and has that extra depth in it. So I've cut it borders and I've used like thirds of the circle to cut them and save the material, and then I've just glued it on with the construction adhesive. And to make these borders look solid with the ceiling, I thought that it would be a good idea to spray them with a spray can, and oh boy, I was wrong. Check this out. Slip. And by the look on my face here, you can definitely tell that I was quite surprised that I've slipped, and all of the paint from the crusting paper that I've put under got on the facing surface and almost ruined my work. And at that point I felt like everything just started to fall apart, the construction adhesive wasn't holding the borders nicely, but luckily, being a genius that I am, I quickly found an appropriate solution for this little trouble of mine. As they say, if it can be fixed with a little duct tape, it probably shouldn't be fixed in the first place. Well, I hope that's what they say. Somehow the duct tape matched the color of my ceiling like it was made for it. So I've put it all around the borders, cut the excess with a knife, and check out the result. It was just perfect. That ceiling pattern was probably the hardest part of this project, and I made the ceiling from 2 parts so I can fit it in the van nicely. And to finish off the fake lamps on my ceiling, I cut 9 circles from this super thin milky plastic, and I would put it later on when I will be assembling everything together on the location. The next step was the skirting boards. I wanted to make them a little bit thicker than the rest of the materials, so I've used some strips of ply to create that extra thickness, and I've glued some edge binding on the top and cleaned it off with a router. I've had to make 9 of these boards, and I think it took me a few hours to complete. After that, I've pre-cutted all of the lumber so I don't have to do much dust at the location, and I've marked all of the sizes with my special color coding. And the last step of the preparation were the elevator doors. They are almost the same design as the ceiling, rectangular frame and HDF on top of it. And just like that, I've had everything prepared for the transportation, which happened the next morning. By the time I've loaded half of the van, my helper arrived. And all the rest is history. I think the installation process requires no words at all. And here it was, after all of the planning and the preparation, the beautiful elevator set was standing in place. I'm pretty confident to say that building sets like this is by far my favorite type of work. And if you've made it all the way till the end of this video, you're an absolute legend, and to prove me that you are, you gotta do 3 simple things. Leave a like under this video, write a comment, and subscribe to the channel. You can also become a member of the channel if you want to support the channel financially. Let me know what you think of this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!